Welcome to our podcast series by American Industries. I am Alma Ortega, part of the American Industries Group team. And today we are exploring one of Mexico's most dynamic border regions, which is Juarez. And for that, we have our regional director here in Juarez, Iván Ramos. Iván, thank you for having us.
My pleasure, Alma. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Glad to have you here.
Thank you. Let's start. Can you share a bit about your professional background and what led you to lead American Industries operations here in Juarez?
Thank you for asking. Yes, my background is I'm an architect.
Okay.
I started my specialty on industrial facilities. I learned about the metal structure for buildings, for industrial facilities. And I started my career by working in a construction company dedicated to build industrial facilities.
Okay.
And that's how I started. At the beginning of my career, I was a site engineer. I was involved in the process of delivering the facility, receiving the project and delivering the facility to the customers of American Industries. Later on, after a couple of years, I started working with American Industries. Now, my role was more in the project management and the construction site as well.
Okay.
So one thing led to another until some years later, I'm now leading the Juarez region, the real estate, commercial activity, and also the shelter.
Okay. You were born and raised here,
Born
right?
and raised in Juarez. Yes.
Okay, well, and I'm sure that you have faced a lot of challenges since your beginning. So, could you remember, or would you like to mention one of the example that you have that has marked you?
Yeah. I remember a lot of experiences, a lot of projects where we needed to consolidate both of the divisions. As you know, we have two main divisions. One is the real estate, and it's pretty simple. We build industrial facilities and we lease them.
Yeah.
And then we have the shelter division where we help companies to understand Mexico, site selection, startup, administrative services. And both are separate business, but they complement each other pretty well. So those projects where you mix both of the needs of a company starting an operation in Mexico, while at the same time they need some place to start their manufacturing. So real estate is a must in an
Sure.
operation.
Yeah, of course.
So there's been some very fun cases. I remember one medical company that wanted to start an operation, and the real estate was very demanding in that time. So when they made the decisions, they had very little time to start producing their finished products, and they had a lead time of 6 months.
Wow.
And it was the facility that they thought it was the one that is going to work for them. Result that it wasn't. So that was very fun because we had the opportunity to coordinate the construction company, the shelter division, design a facility according to their needs, and we were able to figure out since scratch, having standing on the land and saying this is the place where you should be, and delivering the keys. It was to the customers with a wide room, medical devices require some specific needs in terms of clean spaces.
Clean rooms.
So we were able to deliver the facility in 8 months, and at the same time starting the plant and having them shipping their finished products in less than a year. So those kind of projects that where American Industries understands perfectly the area of the real estate, the needs, the infrastructure, and the area of the shelter company that understands how to start an operation in a very fast way and very little risk.
Yeah.
I believe that was one of the projects that I remember. Of course, I had a lot of
Yes.
but that was very challenging. Having client,
I'm
having
sure.
construction company, having everything at the same time, customs team, in order for them to be shipping the products in less than a year. It was a lot of fun.
Yes, I'm sure it was. It was really fun and challenging, of course. Well, now, from your perspective, Ivan, what makes Juarez stand out for international companies evaluating expansion into Mexico?
Well, Juarez is a city that had started at late '60s, and in 1967, the first maquiladora started. Aquí, it
Yeah.
started um, by sorting some coupons.
Oh, really?
Really, it was a coupon factory that they were administrating coupons for the U.S. market. And then a year later, RCA came to Juarez in 1967, 1968, and started a TV manufacturing plant. And basically, the maquiladora as we know it today was basically the concept that begins here. So most of the legal aspects of the customs and maquiladora and labor, environmental, and everything that the maquiladora is right now in Mexico started here in Juarez. And what is it that is competitive about Juarez? Well, of course, that experience has a lot of mature market in the region, and of course, the location is something that companies can have as a strategy for their distribution or manufacturing. You know Juarez is in the mid distance from west and east the markets of the United States. It's in the border, so the traveling of the manufacturing requirements for these plants, they don't need to travel so far south in Mexico to be modified or to add value to their products. So the maturity of the labor is one of the regions with you don't have to worry about unions. Is the labor environment that will not necessarily allow the unions. Of course, by law, you are capable to have a
Unions. Yeah.
unions. So in Juarez, none of our operation has a union. So it's a very friendly and labor environment to work in Juarez. I will say that. So the location between the main markets in the United States, the access to a labor that has been evolved with the time. We used to see the maquiladoras and a basic assembly, sewing, or wire harnesses on the automotive
Yeah.
industry with 9,000 employees in a small place, working 24/7. No, of course not in shifts, of
Yeah. Yeah.
course,
Of course.
but
Yes. 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 Of course.
uh, that kind of industry, of course, it started in the 80s, but now has evolved, and right now, even though the automotive has been very important part of the Juarez region, the uh, the electronics, for example, right now it requires people with more skills, and
Yeah.
we're shifting now. So 32% of the manufacturing now in Juarez is electronic components.
Right. Okay.
Another advantage, Alma, is that we have a great infrastructure in terms of customs.
Right.
You have a great infrastructure in terms of US brokers, Mexican brokers. You have great infrastructure on transportation companies. We have access to main railroads in the United States. You have access to three commercial airports in the region in El Paso, Juarez, Santa Teresa. So the access point for Juarez is
The
connectivity is
connectivity.
also a great advantage of this region. As I mentioned, the custom side, the amount of transactions that are moved in this border is not just for Juarez plants, also but for Juarez, like Chihuahua or further south of Juarez, is also very important. So the merchandise that cross the border in every aspect, even cattling, manufacturing, any kind of makes this region very competitive as well. So it has a lot of experience on that. So you rarely face something that cannot be managed manufacturing area.
Yeah, regarding infrastructure, right? Okay, so now, Ivan, what are some of the main challenges companies face? You already spoke about or gave us an example of one of our clients, but when establishing operations, these companies face a lot of challenges, right? Particularly in Juarez, and how does American industries help them overcome these obstacles?
Well, the challenges in Juarez are not much different than the rest of the
Yeah,
country. Really,
you're
we
right.
in Mexico we have grown and learned and understand the needs of a manufacturing maquiladora processes very well. I believe the main challenges right now that we're facing in the country is related to energy.
Oh,
Is
okay.
one of the challenges that we need
Yeah.
to face. But it's important that you partner with a company that understand that. In our case, we own that information. We own industrial parks. We understand
Sure.
what does it takes to bring energy, water, and everything to the place where our companies need to start an operation, even though we've not one of our facilities. Just to give you an example, we have 9 shelter operations right now in Juarez, and just only one of them use one of our facilities. We help companies to understand really which is the best place, the best pricing. It doesn't matter. So we also need to understand that this facility has the power, the infrastructure, and everything required for that. So that's one of the ways that we help companies so they can understand where in Mexico, where in the city, in which building are they going to be able to produce or have their manufactured. And that's one of the ways we help companies. And in the shelter side, I believe one of the important challenges in Juarez is you need to understand in Juarez what is it that how much you need to pay for the
Yeah.
employee. The labor benefit packages are
Yeah.
important. It's not the same having a medical, having an automotive,
No.
or having any assembly or distribution. I mean, in Juarez, we have some situations where some years are the manufacturing is slowed down according to some external factors or US or
Yeah.
foreign economies. So then you need to understand, do not overpay, do not pay under the market. So you need to understand that it's something that we do. We have operations in different sizes, different types, different medical, I don't know, assembly and things like that. So we own that information, and we can help companies to understand the best way so we lower the turnover.
Yeah.
The turnover is this important factor that I need to review on their calculations when they come to Mexico, in more in the border towns. So we with our experience, that's I think is one of the important activities that helps companies to when they move to a border.
For sure. And well, regarding cost, that now that you're talking about that, in the context of due diligence, companies know that understanding costs variables is critical for making the right decisions, right? In American industries, we do have a cost model, by the way, and it has key differentiators. How does this model provide reliable monthly operating cost estimates across different scenarios and locations? And why should manufacturing decision makers rely on it as part of their site selection process? What would you say
Yeah,
about
yeah.
this?
At the end, you need to make the numbers talk.
Yeah,
I mean, you need to rely your
sure.
decisions, and numbers need to come. And we understand that. We understand
Okay.
that having a manufacturing place in the border or central or northern regions can change it, because you don't depend only on money, of course,
Oh, of
but you
course. Yeah.
understand in terms of you need to be close to your customers, you need to be or away from them. I mean, sometimes they don't want to be too near ni too far from their clients. So there are a lot of factors that a company uses to make a decision, but at the end you need to talk numbers,
Yeah.
and we understand that, and we've been working with this cost model uh, for the past 40 years.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a, I'm glad you mentioned, we have a tool that we've been developing for the past 40 years where you are able to, to understand the cost between different regions in Mexico at the same time. So we work with you. What the way it works is that we send a questionnaire.
Yeah.
This questionnaire talks about the main important factors that will be involved in your cost in Mexico. So what
Operations. Yes.
say, I mean, this cost model rely on the information of our clients. In this case, for example, this questionnaire mentioned, okay, shift configuration is going to be first, second shift. Is it going to be a 12-hour shift? It's going to be 24/7 operation. How many employees? What kind of employees is going to have? For example, if it's going to be a direct labor, if you have a operator C basic operation, or if you require very skilled people. So our cost model allow us to calculate all the aspects of the labor, for example, in terms of uh, it works in a clock hour basis, meaning how much a employee will cost per hour, per clock hour to the companies, not how much the employee gets home. So it's everything managed on a clock hour basis. So you are able to understand on clock hour basis the cost of the labor, the management team. We also manage all the costs related to logistics, for example. Uh, if a company requires to import from seaports or from land, or and the exportation, if you're going to be, as an example, bring in 3 trailer trucks per week for with the components for your manufacturing, after the assembly or the process, you're going to be exporting 5 trucks per week.
Yeah.
So we are able to calculate the cost of freight in Mexico, the cost of broker, the cost on the border, how much it's going to cost you, the custom size, sorry, the custom costs, and the Mexican broker, the U.S. broker, the cost from local shipments, and all related to the logistics is also part of the information that we have. At the end, this cost model is very accurate. We get together every 3 months, and it's not something that we ask around. We own that information. This information is based on our operations. To give you an example, we have more than 80 operations and more than 20,000 employees in Mexico. So we understand the labor, as I mentioned, in every part in Mexico. We understand elsewhere as well all the logistic and custom side of the business as well, because we pay that every day. Just to give you an example, we have here in Juarez region, we have a warehouse which is called Rio Bravo. It's part of American Industry. We have 2 facilities in El Paso, and we manage 65 operations, and we manage the importation of all the equipment and materials for 65 operations in Mexico. And we have we process more than 30,000 transactions per year. This means that we have at least one every 10 minutes.
Yes.
And considering that we have a 24-hour shift, of course. So it's unbelievable. So the experience that we have on importing and exporting, we understand. So we place that cost. We understand how much does it cost, and we include that experience in the cost model. It's pretty simple. Companies takes around 30 minutes to work with us and understand the cost of their operation in Mexico. If we have that information on the questionnaire, for us, it's very simple and easy. It gets a lot of work. There's a lot of people involved. We need to be constantly updating the information. So they have, and it's about 3 to 4% difference of the real. It's an estimated cost. And the way we do it is based on monthly basis. I mean, we are not going to be extrapolating a project for the entire year, but it will give a chance on a monthly basis. And also the cost model also manages the part of the real estate. And because we understand real estate, we have in Juarez 3 industrial parks right now. We have developed more than 31 facilities here in the region. and we understand how much does it cost, infrastructure, KVAs, and everything required for your operation, and also we include that in the cost model. We include the cost of the facility, the lease per square feet per year, as an example, or per month in this case, because it's a monthly basis.
Monthly basis, yes.
And then in Mexico, you face the lease on a triple net basis. This means in top of the lease, you need to pay maintenance, you need to pay insurance, and you need to pay the property tax. So we also understand that part. We include those expenses in the cost model, and we also include if it's in a park or if it's outside of a park, the park fees and everything, all related, all the expenses related to the facility are also included in the cost model. Of course, we include the cost of the administrative. We offer the shelter services with a cost no markups. So we based our cost based on a bracket and a number of employees. If you have from 0 to 30 employees, from 30 to 50, so you pay one flat fee, you understand perfectly how much is going to be the cost from American Industries. Day one, you don't need to be calculating any weird things on top of your expenses, and all the expenses are passed through.
Oh, yeah.
So it's very simple to see our cost in the cost model as well. So you don't have to be doing any extra math to understand how much we cost. And of course, we include all activities. For example, we include the if you require some equipment for safety and security for your employees on the production, we include as well expenses of telephone, security guards, cafeteria, and so all those activities are also included. So we've been working this long enough to understand that the information you require to make a decision whether to come to Mexico or any region in Mexico is you can rest assured that this information will be very accurate and
helpful
and very in immediate information.
Yes.
At the same and at the same time you can run Monterrey, Querétaro, Guadalajara, León, you name it. We have presence in many cities in Mexico, and so you can compare this. So the cost model is a tool that we really recommend to touch bases with us, sit down with us, we discuss about it, and you will have that information very, very quick. As long as we have that questionnaire answer, give us the opportunity to work with you and give us the opportunity to have this information on your hands and very simple and very quick with American Industries. And then at the end, it's a very, very strong tool that we have there. Just to give you an idea, when we calculate the labor cost, we calculate in terms of market what we're paying today, not what we believe is going to be or asking in the market or any information around that is in the market that you can buy. We know what we're paying in this case, and we calculate in this cost model all expenses related to labor. As an example, we put in consideration sport activities. What if you have a tournament of soccer between maquiladoras? So we're including the possibility of the cost of a short, the jersey, the ball and everything to help them with the transportation, so we can have a tournament. We also include that Christmas parties, for example. It's very important here in Mexico to have a Christmas party. At the end with what we call posada. It's very important in Mexico. We also consider part of the cost. So basically, this cost model consider
everything. Well, almost
the most of the expenses. I was mentioning about that we consider the real estate side. I did not mention, for example, we also include in this most cost model utilities cost, water, electricity, and clients give us the information about how much electricity, what they need for their production. But our cost model includes the utilities that are used by itself, by the building itself, how much electricity, the lighting, the HVAC. We also include calculations of how many times the employee flushes the restroom,
Oh, really?
and
Wow.
then we calculate their consumption
Gosh.
of water
Uh-huh.
according to the number of employees. I'm not kidding, but it is that deep. So it is something that
I
we
didn't
offer
know
you
that.
guys. You can
Wow.
it really
Interesting.
give you the a very very
Accurate
accurate
information.
information.
Yes. Well, for sure, this tool must be really helpful. So it's as simple as that. Just sharing information about their decision makers, sharing information about their operation, the operation they want to establish here in Mexico, and voila, you get the information, right? It's something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. Just you just need to contact us in any place in Mexico. We are all prepared. We get together. We all very prepared to help you understand that cost side of your decision making process.
Yeah, and
And
yeah,
we'll be glad to help you guys on
and of
that.
course, there are some clients or some prospects that or decision makers that are trying to decide exactly where to establish in Mexico, right? So this tool will help to compare and regarding costs. Of course, there are a lot of other factors that we'll need to take into consideration, but of course, costs will be really helpful to make the decision, right?
Yeah. So
Okay,
please allow us to use us, okay? Allow us to
exactly.
help you. I mean, that's what we do for a living, and we believe a lot on progress as well. In our region, we believe that in progress of Mexican people as well. And this is kind of it's our passion, is to help companies to establish, bring employment into the region, bring progress, and we'll be more than happy to do it.
Yeah, definitely. The cost model of American Industries is a big differentiator, right? Could you like to mention another differentiator that American Industries offers?
Yes, of course. Rio Bravo or
Yeah,
warehousing in El
sure,
Paso
of course.
give us opportunity to manage all the custom side pretty well. Very, very low risk.
Yeah.
We manage more than 65 operations in the Rio Bravo warehouse. And this, we manage all the importations, everything that is related to raw material and equipment that it has to go with the USMCA and make sure that we comply with all these certifications and regulations, and being part of that process, and the software we manage with that, the SOE software, and also doing it through our Oracle platform.
Yeah.
It gives us opportunity to have a track record on any um, uh, material or equipment that goes in and out of Mexico. So the compliance on that regard is very, very important, and we have a very, very good track record on that activity, and as well understanding. I think I mentioned that before, but understanding the real estate side,
Of course. Yeah.
where in Juarez, how we're building infrastructure. We've been doing it for the past 40 years in Juarez at least. So we understand that those differentiators allow our clients to understand better the the city, understand better the environment, the industrial environment in Juarez, allowing them to make great decisions.
Yes. Let's close with a message to our audience. What advice could you give to executives abroad that are evaluating Juarez as a destination for their projects over here?
Well, planning to go offshore with your company and making decisions about it is like planning a 15 days camping trip on your first date.
Huh.
What could possibly go wrong?
Interesting. Yes.
Well,
Okay.
definitely you need to understand. You need to understand what is the most important situations that you're gonna be facing. You need to plan that in ahead, and I
Yes.
will recommend, of course, using American industries as part of their decision making process. I think is something that. I will recommend definitely to partner with someone that understand that have done that many times. I'm pretty sure it's not a rocket science, but I believe that partnering with a company that understand how to start a manufacturing, that understand infrastructure, that understand labor environments, that understand most of the custom situations and regulations, and that also can give you the service of the expats and everything related for a manufacturing going offshore your countries. I think is something that I will strongly recommend to
Definitely.
all companies.
Yes. Thank you, Ivan. Thank you very much for sharing your perspective on Ciudad Juarez and the value that American Industries offers to international companies.
Thank you.
And to our audience, if you want to explore how our shelter model and our real estate solutions can support your expansion into Mexico, visit our website, americanindustriesgroup.com, or reach out directly. So thank you very much for joining us. See you next time.